Hello, my name is Ethan, and welcome back to another episode of Path of Exile Kalandra League 3.19. But here we have 3.20 Balance Manifesto for the monster mods and Archnemesis. So pretty much, they deleted Archnemesis, and then they're replacing it with a monster mod system similar to the old system. But we have to go through this. So they also have an FAQ on the monster mods, which is really big. And then we have this. Okay, so pretty much the TLDR, it's deleted. And then the goals of the new system is mods do one specific thing. Like they say, magma barrier is just a magma barrier now instead of 6 mods. Mods say what they do rather than having a thematic name you must learn and remember. Encounters are simplified on average while retaining interesting fights. Players are no longer required to do annoying actions to maximize rewards. So in our upcoming 3.20 expansion, Archnemesis will be replaced with a system that is more similar to the way monster mods worked in the past. The issue that players had often had with the Archnemesis were the keyworded names were not fully descriptive of what they did. The mods had multiple hidden effects bundled, which made them harder to understand because you couldn't see them, because you couldn't, they were hidden, and they were, yeah, till like halfway through the season. Then we saw the mods and we're like, oh shit, there's like 6 mods. Well, we figured out there was more stuff, but you know, when they actually reveal it, due to how many effects were included in a single mod, it made too many encounters too complex. Yeah, they stacked up pretty crazily. The way Archnemesis rewards were set up meant that many players felt like they couldn't just kill a monster. They had to consider if they wanted to bring a Magic Find character in to maximize rewards. Yeah, they're talking about after being able to see what the reward was and then how rare it was and how you could then target it with Magic Find does actually make sense that it's like obviously super broken. Because when you then like compare it against Legion and you just have a currency reward, that currency reward isn't super rare and isn't super valuable, so you don't get a color to come in to if it worked. Like I'm just saying, like even nothing is as crazy as those touches. Those touches were actually worth it. It was crazy that they could do that, make something so rare that and you can actually tell that it's gonna give you the loot before you do it. Pretty crazy. It becomes clear after we see it all, yeah. Mods do one specific thing. So here's an example. The magma barrier did a lot of stuff. It put a magma barrier. It didn't stop there. It converted fizz to fire. It added some fire, granted fire res, and fizz damage reduction. It also spawned volatile flame bloods. Now, also don't forget the magma barrier also explodes. The new equivalent modifier just puts magma barrier around the monster and nothing else, but I think it still gives an explosion. And then if they just have can't we still have a magma barrier through the mods? And like we'll actually find those because in my thinking I'll actually find the mob that has, let's say, fizz damage reduction and magma barrier because I can't, because it's tankier. It might be like the old gargantuan plus fizz damage reduction plus magma barrier. I'll still be finding exploding magma barriers in my map that besides even the volatile flame bloods that follow you, that might be a separate mod on its own and you could still get the combination, but just the magma barrier was actually pretty insane, so I'm still scared. Mods say what they do rather than having a thematic name you must learn and remember. For example, rather than incendiary, which broke down into 6 mods, ignite, fire and ignite resistance, instead of deadeye, 5 separate things. It could be apply random mark, extra crit, accurate. Yep. Sounds good. Encounters are simplified on average while retaining interesting fights. The pool of mods that involve complex interaction like spawning volatiles or ground effects on death have been heavily diluted by the presence of the simpler mods. Oh, that makes sense. I wonder how many mods. Oh, that's why we'll get the combo less. Yeah, my point is we're still gonna see it. We're still, and it's gonna be different. It won't be called. It won't just be a single magma barrier screwing us up. It's gonna be fizz damage reduction, um, the magma barrier, and if I go a fizz build, is my point. Obviously, it'd be fire res if you're a fire build, etc. But, crazy. Okay, this means that you encounter more complex fights less frequently. But interesting and challenging and emergent behavior from overlapping mods can still happen, just less often. And not like this was before, it was way consistent because it was you hit one magma barrier or you hit empowered elements or crystal skin or these mods, and you stack them up with other tank mods, and oh my god, or even other damage mods. And then corruptor was insane, and rejuvenating with the tank mods, god damn, man, these things were way too consistent. So yes, some more the randomness could also be bad. We'll find some more random garbage that wasn't possible before. So it might be more spiky in the very rare situation, potentially. Especially if they end up doing more than just 2 to 4 mods, we'll see. Especially at the higher tier content. 2 to 4 mods for regular, but then as soon as you get into that T16, and you got like 100 deli everything, and going crazy. Okay, players are no longer required to do annoying actions to maximize rewards. In Archnemesis, rewards were associated with individual mods. This meant that you could tell what kind of rewards you would get in advance. In some cases, you were then effectively required to fetch a magic find culling character to make sure that you maximize the value of the monster mod that you had found. In other cases, you would ignore a monster completely if you knew that it would only drop rewards that were of no value to you. In the new system, we have added a significant pool of new rewards, 2 rares. But the reward that is on the monster is hidden. God damn it. And not associated with it. Well, no, that's good in the term, but I'd like to know in general what the significant pool is of new rewards. You know, what are we actually going for? Obviously, you don't need to know in the moment on the monster, but in general, what is the possibility? Like where we go and we know we can kill a thing and possibly drop a mirror, a headhunter, a mage blood. What are they doing? I'm just curious. I'm sure we'll hear, but I'm just mentioning that's what I care about the most, is what is this actual significant pool of new rewards? Because the hidden thing is, yeah, that makes sense, because we pointed out this amplifies or points out why the other one especially makes sense, because you think about this and you're like, oh, if the thing's hidden, then you can't specifically magic. But there was also the point of, I heard, then if you do like the regular common rewards that we have right now, the current types on monsters, which we've been saying forever, like Legion, if you just put those, like expedition like thing, like you put those on the monsters, and they even could have a marker on the map, so you, oh, it'd be so cool. Then they have rewards, oh, but then it would be that same thing where you're gonna skip a rare because it's a weapon chest and you don't want it, and you're only gonna go for the currency ones, but you're not gonna call a magic find. Okay, I get what they say, I get what they're saying. That's why they want the hidden, so you don't know what kind of rewards you get until you kill the monster. So it could be like the armor, weapon, currency, jewelry, all that shit unique, but hidden. And then it would actually be really cool. That'd be really cool. Rare monsters with more mods are more likely to have these special hidden reward mods. It'd be like a heist chest, but on monsters, which we've been wanting forever, but they didn't want to show us the mods, and they showed us how bad it is when you make that with a super rare broken thing that's more valuable than anything, and showing you the mod and what happens. So now they want to hide it, because yeah, to have these special hidden reward mods. This new reward system smooths out the spikiness that the Archnemesis reward system had. Yeah, so the other option that they had was just to obviously hide the mods, change them, and then they hide them, and then you would make the touches more common, but lower the reward to equal the same amount, so that you smooth out the spikiness, so you see more touches, so you don't have to get the one touch that pays for everything in the last 50 maps. It's just with the magic find, it's just, yeah. And then you wouldn't have had to magic find because you couldn't see it. But anyways, this works too, and it'll be different, and I'm sure people will like the freshness away from Archnemesis. That's been the sentiment. Anything not Archnemesis and more like the old stuff is what people want. The original motivation for developing Archnemesis was that the previous monster mod system was very out of date. Many of the mods didn't have an appreciable effect under modern balance, and there wasn't a lot of interesting gameplay possible. In our opinion, Archnemesis did succeed at adding a lot of interesting new mechanics to rares. That is a cool line, because it actually, like, if but introduce the problems described above. Yeah, what they actually mean by this is that they had old mods that didn't do anything, and even if they scaled them up, then they just made for bad gameplay, so it's just actually bad. And then they made new mods, and that were actually very, very, very the opposite, very impactful. You notice them. They made rares the most insane thing. Rares were like bosses with these mods, and these mods made you have to answer them and react to them, and you couldn't in most cases just ignore them. It's kind of crazy. So yeah, in that way it was a success. But then it also, man, were they really hard, and that's making the monsters really hard. So then we would have had to have had a ton of endgame power given to us, like the Recombinators, to deal with Archnemesis, and then to strip away Recombinators, and then to still have to deal with them. Yeah, and then to not have Sentinel loot and all that. It's actually a really big difference. The 2 seasons. It's kind of funny that technically we could have just been more powerful to answer the powerful mods, but then they're seeing how the powerful mods are a problem. Yeah. Because if you could scale the thing, or if they didn't start so strong and they actually like had a scaling of, you know how the one mod was 6 things, but then how would you communicate that the magma barrier in Act 1 is easier than the magma barrier in a tier 16 anyway, sorry. Okay, yeah, sure, that's why they've thought of all this. While creating the new monster mods described in this article, we were careful to retain most of the interesting mechanics that Archnemesis introduced, but in a way that doesn't include a grab bag of other effects and is diluted by many other simpler mods. Most of the interesting mechanics. So that's basically saying, like, probably where magma barrier, you get the magma barrier, and you get maybe the toxic the toxic fucking stupid thingy flying through the air. You might get the glacial cage, the ice cage thing that actually stops shield charge. Oh my god, dude, that was horrific in the Delve event. I have to shield charge, and then when I get ice caged, I have to flame dash over the ice cage because my quartz flask ran out, because I can't kill the Delve monsters because we're at 500 Delve with minion with no items. Okay. So anyways, while you can certainly still rarely, oh wait, they also said mods are simpler and say exactly what they do. The result is a system that is very similar to what monster mods used to be like, but with much more up-to-date content and balance. Mods are simpler and say what they do. So I just, when they keep saying simpler, we do think of the Headhunter, but then they've said in this FAQ that you're gonna have at the top end more buffs to steal. They still can't stack, but there's more mods. And so they may be weaker individually, but then Yeah, and then what if what if they do end up having more rare mods on the high tier content than you expect of just 4, and then they also do um this Atlas node back where you can add rare mods, maybe more than one. Maybe because if an old Arch Nemesis mod is like 5 or 6 and these are 1, and then so an old monster had like 4 to 8 Arch Nemesis mods potentially, um meaning they had like 20 to 40 mods of the new system, and then the new system is actually also simpler mods too, because you would have to bundle it like 4 simple mods with a good mod to equal the same thing if they're like calling simple mods just those base ones, and the big mod is the. Yeah, it's gonna be funny how they actually show that, if they actually show like different rarity of the mods too, of how there's the simple mods and they're like normal magic, and then they're the crazy ones which are the higher, but not actually based on like rarity like that, but yeah. Um so then they say that you can certainly still rarely encounter scary combination of mods that really wake you up, which honestly I think it could potentially be even scarier in very rare situations, um, which I'll be bound to find just due to how much I play. Like, I should find them. It's a lot rarer than it was under the Arch Nemesis system. We feel that the new system is more modern and interesting than the old system monster mod Nemesis system, and is clearer and easier to understand in the heat of combat than Arch Nemesis was. So I'd like to still point out though that this is everywhere. Um this doesn't really pull back the Nemesis Everywhere thing, because there was the base mod pool, and then there was Nemesis, and then there was Bloodline. Now we've had it all bundled together. So just so you know, like, we're still facing these monster mods everywhere. It's just that it depends on how they scale it. Maybe they choose to not put the crazier ones in the beginning, and maybe they don't stack as many monster mods. But I'm just saying that technically it's the type of mod, it's how impactful they are is the major difference. That the Nemesis and Bloodlines was like random before, and not all of them, and a lot less. So that maybe that's what they're pointing out, that this is going to be a lot rarer and it's more back to the old system, and I just have to play it and feel it, and it'll feel like the old system but with a more modern, like with the new mods. But I still feel like these new mods are underestimated with how impactful they really are. um so we'll see, but it's really interesting, really cool. The reward sounds really cool. I like to see what that pool is, the significant pool of new rewards, because that's cool. And then I am interested about how these mods are gonna stack up, and how we're gonna do this, and what all the mods are, because they have to add a bunch of mods, right? Because they say there's more mods than before, more mods to steal. But then I wonder if it's actually just breaking down the mods into, like I say, the complex and simple, where you have your magma barrier is like the top tier, but then there's the simple ones, which are just like the fire res and stuff. When you yeah, so is it really more, or is it just broken down? It's like that jug node that they broke down, but then it actually gains something too. Okay, so now the FAQ though. We'll do one at a time. Since the mods are simplified and separated, does that mean rare monsters will now have more mods on average to compensate? How many mods can a rare monster have? We're currently playtesting to determine. At the moment it's 2 to 4. But this may change as we continue to iterate. It's so early that I don't see this happening. I expect more. Because everyone reacts to this like, huh? That how? You're saying it's simplified. It can't be, or the game's gonna be really easy. We'll see. Oh, will the modifiers effects be made more intense to compensate for the simplification? These are new mods that have similar themes to old ones but have new balance values. In many cases, these are the same as before, but we're evaluating on a case-by-case basis. It's mostly the weaker secondary mods that need to be juiced up so that they make sense as a standalone mod. So, the fizz damage reduction, instead of something having 25? I don't know. But that's what they're saying. So those simple, weaker mods are also pretty strong. So actually, when you stack them up, it's actually stronger than before. So they may be simplified and separated, but they are compensated. Okay. That's why they're bigger. Are rare monsters still getting increased damage, HP, defenses per mod, or only whatever the individual mods on the rare roll? Rare monsters never received additional damage per incremental mod, and the only defenses they received was a life bonus on top of whatever the mod actually did, of course. Under the new system, they will get life, experience, item rarity, quantity, bonuses per additional mod. More mods. Guys, more mods. We want more mods. Okay, not this one, but we want the player. We want more mods. This is why you watch my videos. Will the changes made to reduce the number of rare monsters spawned in various mechanics be undone now that each individual rare encounter is less likely to be a major burden to the player? No. Yo, have you ever done the Growling Den in Delve? Dude, it has so many rares, it has so many monsters. I got overburdened. It was a major burden. Okay. Harpies, goddamn. Abyss, pretty crazy too. You want to do a Legion? Yo. Okay, will Pantheon mods still exist with simplified lines such as uses Katava skills or something like that? Pantheon mods still exist but are very rare. This is touched, right? God touched? Jesus. They still exist. Will stealing ignites make all our hits ignite? This makes all monster fire damage ignite. So it will make all your fire damage ignite if you steal it. This is simplified. Oh no. We're already going down the goddamn rabbit hole of the simplified. Oh no. That's what I thought of when I saw this. I was like, oh, well, we're fucked. Oh no. It was supposed to be simplified. This doesn't seem... Fire ignite. Oh no. Because it's true. It's actually true because we have ways to do ignite without needing it to be fire. Okay, can we have examples of some of the new reward types being introduced? Damn it. Damn it. Okay. Relax. Does this mean I'm forced to play Magic Find all the time now? If you're able to sacrifice character power for Magic Find, then you'll find more and better items. That was true before 3.19, and it's the nature of Magic Find in action RPGs. Note that Magic Find has diminishing returns, so a small investment can go a long way. Hey, what's this about? Note. You just throwing this in here, eh? How have reward conversion changed? We're still working on this, but we can confirm only some of the new rewards are conversion ones. We are removing the undesirable ones that like conversion to flats. We're trying to make the rewards from rare monsters not so all or nothing. Does Magic Find still massively affect the reward conversions? We're still iterating on these systems. Yes. And we don't want to set expectations around this in either direction just yet. Look, don't worry about what the top tier Magic Find person can do. Just worry about a small investment. Just get a little bit, try it out, see how it is, see if you like it. But yo, it's gonna be a thing. They just don't wanna they just don't wanna mess you up again. I wasn't messed up. It was okay because some of those things were fake anyways, and I figured it out. But yeah, it could mess up a lot of people. Um, I also we did build a little bit and we did test a little bit. We did like it, but it was also like the uh last season there wasn't new end game. We had memories, and then really the end game is uber pinnacle bosses because they're called the aspirational content. And so when you get the option of making more loot to not make your character more powerful last season, but you could just make your character more powerful and then you don't waste your time with Magic Find, you just make your character more powerful to try to do the Uber bosses, and that was the like what I was trying to do, because that was still like the thing. Um, if I could have changed to want to do Magic Find last season and to try to make the most loot, but like at the same time you need something to do with the loot. It's my point every time that I like new endgame, new things to go after, new hard stuff that is difficult, or even just they could even take something that's old and make the Uber version, and that's really cool too, and I enjoy that, and making my character more powerful is pretty fun, but just the Magic Find to get more loot. But if I already have all the loot and I don't have anything to do with it, all I need to do is make my character more powerful. And you can't make the character more powerful, or the upgrades are so poop, then that's really the gameplay. That's yeah, because what's the point of the more loot if and then you've made your character weaker? This is my whole like the whole thing. This is the whole thing. What are you trying to do in the game? Are you trying to maximize your loot, or are you trying to be the most powerful character to do powerful things? There you could definitely invest some, especially on the way during your journey, before you do the final thing, or while you're farming you can do it, or you could have a farming character where you have Magic Find and then use a specific character that is maxed out for the boss specialized. It definitely does start to go into the that Magic Find is like giga endgame or like mid game. There's two ways to play it. There's the small investment that just fits into your build and it works pretty well, or there's the like literally make a dedicated character that can still do pretty crazy content that still that then the extra Magic Find makes more money per hour, and you actually use that to invest in another character, because you wouldn't use the Magic Find in the Uber Pinnacle bosses and shit. That's my yeah. When that's the aspirational content in the game. So if they had made potentially a future boss or future content where the Magic Find then is relevant in the end game, like a raid, just as a simple, I don't know, Magic Find somehow plays a role there, then you would actually be investing it in your final character. Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty neat. I wonder if it actually affects the because it shouldn't affect the Uber boss's rarity unique drop, right? Haven't heard of that yet. Either way, if you guys know, let me know. All of this is pretty cool though. The Archnemesis change. Like I say though, that this sounds actually kind of scary. This sounds like it could be more powerful in some ways, just more rare. Um, and so then this, oh god, this could be pretty insane. We'll see what those extra mods are. We'll see what the extra new what's the new mod pool that they're adding. The significant pool of new rewards to rares, and we'll see how all this works out. Either way, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for hanging out. If you ever fought an arch nemesis monster, hit the hit the like button. If you guys hit the like button, you guys are new to the channel. Hit that subscribe button so you guys are notified of the next video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys when I react to the trailer. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode.